What's going on YouTube? I hope you guys are as excited as I am for this ridiculous, epic unboxing. If you watched my last video, you have an idea at least of what's going to be in these boxes, but I am really excited. This is the start of a whole new camera system for me, so let's just get into it. Robert Hall. No thank you. Sorry about that. Alright, so to start off, we got a FUJI X-T2. I'm so excited about this camera, guys. Like I said in my last video, I have been watching mirrorless gear forever. I've actually held it already. A friend of mine let me kind of play with his to make sure it was something I wanted to invest in, but I'm so excited. The technology is finally at a point where I think the focus isn't going to be an issue anymore. We'll keep that. We want to keep these boxes nice, just in case we end up not liking it. Alright, so right on the top we've got the product registration as well as the camera manual. Camera manual that I actually care about for once. I haven't looked at a Nikon one in quite a long time, but I don't know the system at all, so I really need that camera manual. Oh, here it is. It's so light. Oh my god. It's so light. Let you guys check that out. I mean, I know there's no battery, no lens on it or anything at all yet, but just holding a body. I've held a D750 body as well as D3s and D810s forever, and this is just, there's nothing to it. It just feels amazing. What else we got in here? I really don't care about this stuff. I know what stuff's in here. We gotta open everything up. Alright, we got charger, battery, strap, cable. Did they give me 2 batteries? Oh no. This looks like, this must be some type of flash commander. Oh, it's like a mini flash. I see it now. That's cool. I didn't even know that this came with it, so at least I have something that I can use with it. I've already done the research. I can actually use my Nikon flashes in full manual, but you know, I don't want to take speed lights on vacations and stuff, so it'll be cool to have this little XF X8 miniature flash with it. Of course, we got a battery. Hopefully it's charged, so we can boot this bad boy up. Then we've got the charger, strap, which I probably will just leave that in here because I never use the standard straps. Cable and little strap clips. Also not using that. People need to do what Nikon does and just put the fold out, prongs for the AC adapter in this, because I don't know, it's a little bit archaic to have all that extension. If you don't, I have so many different chargers that I don't want another cable running everywhere, so I love it when I can just plug it right into my strips. But we'll get through this travesty. We're gonna make it. Alright, let's see if this battery's charged. I'll clean this up a bit. Whatever. We'll get to that. Alright. See if we got any juice. Also, you shouldn't make a battery like this can be wrong and still slide all the way in. You shouldn't do that. You should shape your battery so that it can only go in the right way. Again, we'll get through this, I think. Alright, we'll flick it on. Ooh, we have just a little bit of power. Or maybe a lot, I don't really know, but we have power. All right, so once we power it on, we get the language start menu as well as year, date, time. I don't know. The battery is about to die. It's very, very low, so I'm not going to play with it too much, but just showing you guys. That's the top. As you can see, we've got the beautiful large manual dials. Now, I don't know how well I'm going to take to this because I've never used film cameras before. I know there's a lot of older film cameras that are this type of style, but I was never in that department. Now, I am comfortable with the aperture ring being on the actual lenses. As you can see, there's no f-stop control. There are certain lenses in the Fuji series where they don't have an aperture ring, and then you just use the back dial. But everything that I purchased is going to have the aperture ring on the actual lens, so I'm pretty comfortable with that. I own a few older Nikon lenses, so I know what to expect there, and I'm sure I'll adjust quickly. Up top, you can use this for your shutter speed and then modify it based on that. But what I'll probably end up doing, just because I'm so used to having that full control with the Nikon, is just put it to the T and use the front dial to actually change the shutter speed. And then we've got the ISO wheel over here. That's kind of nice. I kind of like the ISO being a wheel, and I remember on like the Nikon D810, it was up here, you had to hold down the ISO and then you could adjust it back here. So I think that won't be, especially with the weight of the system, taking that hand off the lens, I think that's going to be really, really nice. Looking at the back, this little joystick right here is actually what we're going to be using to move our autofocus points, which is awesome because on the X-T1 it was actually over the D-pad. That was just a little bit slower, but what they've actually done is made the D-pad customizable now, so we can get to a lot of the cool menu features way faster. So I'm excited about this little thumbstick to use for focus point. And coming from Nikon, that's probably the second biggest thing to the electronic viewfinder, is having that full coverage of autofocus points. I'm so excited about that. If you've ever used a full frame Nikon camera, your compositions are so limited to that dinky little autofocus area. I don't know, it stinks, but that's what I'm really excited about for this camera, is because I think it's going to really open up my compositions, at least maybe increase my speed of getting to the compositions I want, and no hoops to jump through. So the electronic viewfinder was the biggest selling point for me. I love the what you see is what you get factor of the electronic viewfinder, as well as some of the video features of this. There's a lot of things I'm excited about with this camera, the portability, but this is just a body and we can't really do much with just a body. So let's see what else we got. There are some lenses that I purchased that were used, others were new. There are some really good Fuji sales going on till the end of the week, so I don't really know which one this is, but we'll find out. Alright, this is the 56. This is my favorite focal length. Alright, as you know, aps-c sensor, meaning 56 is actually going to give us really close to 85. 85 millimeters is my favorite focal length on DSLRs, so I had to get this lens. That's one cool thing. All the Fuji cameras are aps-c sensors, so all their lenses are designed with full frame in mind. So you don't have any like weird crop factors to really worry about, because their 56 millimeter is designed to be an 85. Their 35 millimeter is designed to be a 50. Their 23 millimeter is designed to be a 35. So they've really thought ahead with that. Owner's manual. Stop! Contact us first if you have any issues or questions. You are in good hands. Good to know. It's always nerve-wracking buying used gear because you don't really know how used it's going to be. Obviously, people rate them a little bit differently, but ooh, this looks perfect. Oh wow, this is crystal clear. This must have been like open and closed. So hopefully, sometimes you got to worry about that though, because someone could have put it on a body and found out that the focus on it sucked on this particular copy. We've all heard about somebody getting a bad copy of a lens. I hope that's not the case with this. I'm really excited about the actual manual aperture ring. Hear that? I just think it's a really easy way to change the f-stop. I think we should throw it on. And this is my favorite lens. We gotta throw it on real quick. I don't know if we even have enough juice to take like a single sample photo. Oh, it's on the other side. I'm used to Nikon. That's gonna take some getting used to. That's one thing that's kind of weird with the whole aperture ring is that putting it on a lens, you have to find. So there's only this tiny little sliver between the bottom and the top that don't actually move. So yeah, it's gonna be weird to take off lenses. You guys are getting my authentic first impression here, obviously. That'll take some getting used to. I'm sure we will adapt. All right, let's click this on. No memory card, that's okay. Oh yeah. Focusing super quick. We like that. I love that aperture ring. Oh, and just looking at the viewfinder, seeing the changes in pretty much real time. Overall, oh man, this is nothing. This weight is just nothing compared to my Nikon D750 with an 85mm on it. So I am already in love, and just doing the previews, the bokeh is just incredible. Oh, the bokeh is gigantic. Going down to the aps-c sensor instead of full frame, you know, that's a little bit of a concern for a lot of people that, you know, oh, I'm not going to be able to shoot wide open, especially with wide open shooting being so popular now that the autofocus is actually good enough to do so. But, you know, we're shooting at like a 1.8 equivalent about, and it looks great. That's all that matters. It looks great. Sure, you can probably get a little bit bigger with a 1.4 lens on a full frame body, but it's very, very marginal. I am so excited about this lens, but I'm equally excited to see what else we got. Here we go. Let's open something else up. Back on. Next box. Mesabi Power. I think this is just extra batteries. Now, batteries are a huge concern because with mirrorless, you definitely use a lot more battery power. And I think these are actually the same batteries as the X-T1 because I haven't made generic batteries for the X-T2 just yet. But I just needed something basically that I can use while I'm in Europe. And I'll probably be buying more X-T2 generics once they start coming out. And a power brick. See? Fuji? That's how you do it. All right. No cables. We don't need those. AC adapter for the car. This looks like a converter for China, something like that. This isn't too exciting. Moving on. Unless these have power in them and I can use them today, that would be exciting. Maybe another lens. Oh yeah, it's another lens. This one is the 10-24 f4. Now, I was debating getting one of their prime wide angles with a very wide aperture, but you know, this is pretty much all I think I'm gonna need. This box is kind of weird. Here we go. Actually, a hefty. No, it's pretty light. I was gonna say it's kind of hefty, but it's not. It's super light. Especially, so this would be kind of like a 14-24, except it's only f4 instead of a 2.8 like the Nikon. 10-24 is going to give us 15-36, which I like that 36. Like that's going to be really nice to be able to go that far with with a wide angle lens or an ultra wide lens, especially having 15 to start with. So I'm excited about this one as well. All right, comes with a little lens hood. Let's This might be wider or lighter than the 56 millimeter. I'm not. Oh yeah, it definitely is. Very, very light. Alright, so now with the zoom lens, I've actually got 3 rings. Okay, I guess this is an f-stop ring, but unlike the 56 millimeter, it doesn't actually show me where or what f-stop I'm on, and it kind of just goes forever. So I guess there's a few different types of lenses and how they're going to actually give you access to your f-stop, and that's fine, because this one on the 56 millimeter, you see I've got stop at 1.2 and it goes all the way up to 16, and then it has an A, which might be for like controlling it off of a dial on your camera. But this one, it just goes on forever and it doesn't have any information in terms of what's available to you. So I'm assuming it's just gonna go left or right. Yeah, it just starts at 1 and you go left and right, and that's it. Looks like this has the A option as well. So I'll have to read up on these menus and figure out what that A actually means. But got control of the image stabilization right here, on and off switch. All right, let's keep going. Just want to get it all open. I think I've got a couple more lenses still. Sorry, camera. That camera right there kind of cut off at like 20 minutes right before I started opening this box, so it might be a little weird. Anyways, we got the booster grip, or as everyone else would call it, a vertical grip. Smells good. Wonder if they gave me an extra battery. Nope. This looks like an AC adapter, which is cool if I'm ever running any video for a long time. I can just plug it right into the wall. A lot of times a vertical grip is an accessory, but for the X-T2, especially if you're doing video work or want to tap into some of its capabilities, it's almost a requirement, which is kind of weird to say. But it looks like on the bottom here, take this bad boy off. On the grip, take this off, and have connection. Zoom it in like any other grip. Still quite a bit lighter than anything else, although we're getting into the width of a much larger camera system now. I like how that feels. Probably not going to be using this all the time, but I do want this for the AC adapter. I do want it to boost the frames per second if I ever need to. It's going to have some benefits to the 4K video. If there's anything like a ceremony where I don't want to be running back and forth grabbing batteries throughout it because it's going to be an hour long, then I can just load up 3 batteries. It's going to really counter the battery usage of this camera, which compared with a DSLR, which I can shoot an entire wedding on one D750 battery per camera. So I'm not going to be able to do that with this Fuji gear, so at least I can load up 3 and run around for a portion of the day. But these batteries are super tiny. I'm not worried about putting a few of these in my pack or even in my pocket, you know, if I'm separated from my pack. Got access to the autofocus control joystick, as well as an AFL and AEL, and a sub dial, primary dial. And we've even got a few buttons right here, FN, Q. I don't know what those mean yet though. I'm assuming function is just programmable. Q, no clue. We'll find out later. As I said, I've owned an XE1 for like a week, so I don't know what a lot of this stuff does yet. Moving on. That means our last 2 boxes are lenses. All right, got the Fujifilm XF 35mm 1.4. So this is going to be our 50 equivalent. I don't remember if I bought, I think this is new. Yeah, this is new. In the box, got another useless sleeve case, manual. Ooh, now see, they presented this one way differently. And this is nice. I actually really like that box. They needed to do this on all of them. This is our 50mm 1.4 equivalent, 35mm. It's actually not much smaller than a Nikon 50mm 1.4, but much smaller than the Sigma 50 1.4 Art, which the Nikon 50 1.4G, that lens is terrible. I've owned like 3 different copies of that lens. All of them have been terrible. What's this? Hood? So this one actually has more of like a square lens hood, and then there's this, but there's also a lens cap. I really don't think I need this. Oh, I can't take this off. That makes sense. So that's probably the lens cap you're going to be using if you want to keep this lens hood on. Let's throw this on real quick, see how this feels. Now, for anyone who knows me personally, you know I'm not really sure how I feel about 50mm in general. I use it 1 week for like 500 shots at a wedding, and then I won't touch it for a month. I do know I love 35mm and 85mm on full frame. Some odd reason with 50mm, I just never really consistently use it. It's never been a consistent favorite. I'm not even gonna get too far on this one. I mean, it's a 50mm. You can pretty much guess what to expect. We're gonna move on to the last lens. This seems like way too big of a box for what's inside. Ow. I'm left-handed, so whenever I cut with my right hand, it's kind of dangerous. Fuji 23mm f1.4. Now that I'm thinking about it, my 2 favorite lenses are 35mm and 85. I love those 2 focal lengths. For some odd reason, those are the 2 focal lengths that I bought used equipment on, and everything else is new. Guess I didn't really think that one through. Pointless lens, cloth case, manual, the goodies. Actually, I don't even know if this is used. Yeah. This looks like it's been opened a couple times, but still really, really good condition. This also is maybe half the size of the Sigma Art 35-1.4, which is a nice lens. I actually switched to the Sigma 24 to 35mm f2 because I found one thing about 35 is that sometimes I want a little bit more width, and that just worked better for me in combination with an 85mm. Pretty much my engagement sessions are 90% 24 to 35, and the 85, occasionally I'll use a 70 to 200. So having the 35 and 85 combo again, I'm excited about that on this new system. And I really like how this feels. This fits my hand really well. My pinky just goes right into this little nudge. This falls nicely right here. My thumb is over that. Like, this just feels extremely natural. I don't know, this feels like I'm squeezing it into my hand, whereas this kind of feels more like resting on that pinky, but that's not quite comfortable either. You guys can expect some in-depth reviews on all of this. If you guys have any questions, if you've been looking at the Fuji equipment, let me know. I'm very new to it, so I might not have all the answers, but I can tell you anything that you want to know in terms of preference. So, you know, how I actually feel about this compared to Nikon gear. I'm sure I'm going to be making a lot of content about that because this is like a big switch for me. The Nikon gear is not going anywhere yet because the flash system for Fuji isn't what I need for professional work yet. Now, Godix is supposed to be making an X1TF, and speed lights for the Fuji system. And when that does, Nikon will be going bye-bye if I actually love this system. So far, just from the specs and the weight and the gear, I think I'm gonna like it. No promises yet. But for now, I'm really excited about using this and giving you guys some reviews on all the independent lenses, so look out for that. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and ask me any questions. Take it easy, YouTube. Hey.